Time to review the most comfortable ski boot ever. This is the Apex ski boot system. More specifically, this boot is the Apex Antero XP Topo Edition, their flagship boot from Apex ski boot systems. What makes Apex ski boots unique is that it's a two-part ski boot system. One part being the comfortable walking boot, the second being the chassis piece, which is where you get all the performance for skiing. Let me show you a little bit more about the walking boot. So once again, I'm just going to unbuckle each of those straps and step the walking boot out. As you can see here, you have a really large tongue that protects some of the BOA system here, but inside this tongue is actually very stiff. I have snowboarded in this boot and it is a very responsive boot because it is nice and stiff. I would say it's comparable to, say, like a Ride Insano boot as far as how stiff it is. That stiffness is something that's going to be really important for translating what we're asking our skis to do. And for some snowboarders who like to go really fast and rip, they may like a really stiff boot. That's what this is as a snowboard boot. But in reality, this isn't really a snowboard boot. It's a ski boot. And so it's meant for skiers, but it's going to allow skiers to have that comfort and walkability that all those snowboarders have from their walking boot. So just like a regular snowboard boot, or most snowboard boots that you'll see on a ski wall today, it has two adjustable BOA knobs. And these knobs are what adjust your lower and upper half of the boot. So you can dial in the way that it feels. To adjust the boot, you simply pull the BOAs out and pull that tongue down, and that will loosen up the boots so you can slide your foot in with ease. And then when you're ready to tighten them up, you just push them in, and then you get to dial them specifically to what feels great for you. The bottom half, like for me, if you have an instep issue, you can do that nice and comfortably tight. And then the top half, you'll want to do nice and snug, really tight. That top one, and especially with this new design with the stacked BOA, is going to allow you to get this really tight. And getting that tight is key to performance. So with the newest edition of the Apex Antero XP, that dual stack BOA system has really increased the gas pedal or the control that you have as a ski boot. Putting that BOA up top allows that top half of the boot to get really, really tight to your shin up top. And that gives you the leverage and control that you're really asking for when you're out there on the mountain going down something really steep or more technical. So that dual stack BOA is what's giving you that extra control and that gas pedal that you really need when you're performing at high levels on the mountain. It has a really nice Vibram sole that's going to last you a long time, and even a heat moldable inner liner, which is really important for that perfect fit. Now that we've gone over the walking boot a little bit, let's see what makes it perform for skiing. And that's the chassis. So the chassis is this shell that your walking boot fits into. The shell itself is actually very stiff, has a high flex. For those of you wondering how this performs as a ski boot, it's this piece that gives you all of that performance and translates the power from you to your skis. What's great about this, like the adjustability of the walking boot, the chassis itself actually has a ton of adjustability so that you can have the perfect fit, regardless of the size of your calf, regardless of some differences in your feet. This boot system really gives you a ton of adjustability so you can make it perfect for your needs. And speaking of that, when we're talking about performance, the chassis piece right here on the back has this spine right here. And this spine has a couple of adjustments. First of all, you do have the ability to adjust your forward lean angle. So if you like a more aggressive forward lean, or if you are somebody who has like a really, really big calf, you can bring that forward or back Secondly, you have this piece right here that has basically a elastomer right behind it that you can actually change out to adjust the stiffness of the boot. So right now, out of the box is going to come with like a medium elastomer, which is going to be that kind of mid-level flex, probably more like 110 to maybe 120 in flex rating. And then you can put in a black one, which would put it to that 120 stiffness, maybe to like 125, 130. And it also comes with a green, so you can have a softer flex. So you have a ton of control over how the performance of this boot reacts to what you need. Not only is the chassis adjustable in regard to the performance aspects, but there's a ton of adjustability for comfort and just dialing it into perfection. So let's see just how easy it is to get in and out of the walking boot, as well as get into and out of the chassis. One of the best parts of the ski boot system itself is the ease of getting into and out of the boot. So once we take the boot out of the chassis itself, and then we take and open up each of these boas by pulling it out and loosening them by pulling this down, now it's going to be really easy for me to slide my foot all the way into the boot. Once my foot's in the boot, I just push the boas back in and tighten them up. It does not matter what order you do that in. The most important thing is to still make sure that the upper boa system is really tight, because that's where all your leverage is going to come from when you're translating what you're wanting to do to your skis. So getting into the boot was just that easy. And to get out of the boot, it's just as simple. I'm just going to pull these boas away. I don't have to unscrew them or adjust them. They're automatically fully released. And now I can just pull the tongue down and I can pull my foot right out of the boot. For me, somebody who doesn't have the best flexion, getting in and out of this boot is easy. And it's so easy to do no matter how cold the morning is. I can get into and out of this boot with ease, as you can see. Once you've gotten yourself back into the boot and you've got it dialed in, stepping into the chassis is easy once you get the hang of it. So the easiest way I've found to get into the frame is to step 1 foot forward in front of the chassis. Make sure you stabilize yourself. I'm holding onto the wall here. Then you can just kick back and make sure your toe goes underneath that toe strap, and then you can just step down and you're perfectly into the boot. It's just as quick and simple as that. And then I'm not fighting with straps or struggling to get into the boot. Getting out of the boot system is just as easy. You just simply unbuckle the boot, place your finger in this little notch right here, and then just step right out of the chassis. And now I can walk around getting out of the boot. I just pop the boas out. They automatically release. Pull the tongue down, and I can pull my foot right out. Once again, there's a ton of adjustability all over this boot, from the adjustments of the boa system on the walking boot, the adjustments that you can make to each and every single aspect of your buckles, as well as if you need some sort of lean or canting on the sides. And like we mentioned before, you can adjust both the flex and the forward lean on the spine and the back. So what is it that makes Apex ski boots so great? Well, one is the ability to walk in comfort instead of clopping around in your ski boots. The second thing is the warmth that you get. So you get a warm, comfortable boot that you can walk anywhere and do anything that you want to do. The other thing is you get to adjust it specifically for you. I mean, you can dial this thing in, whether you have a high instep or a bunion or a big calf, you get to dial all those individual pieces into perfection, making this the most comfortable boot ever. Don't believe me? Find a demo center near you and try it out. Like and subscribe to this video if it helped you out any, and please share your comments on the system below.